Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Hey, I got a great show for you planned. Give me 30 seconds. All right. Yes. Oh man, what a great week of NFL football. What a great week of NFL football. I'm doing something different with my camera. It feels a little off. Man, I'm jacked up to be here. What a great week. What a great week of games. Some really good ones. Earlier today, I watched a rebroadcast of Cleveland and New York. Several things were wrong about what the Cleveland Browns did. It was kind of funny because One Pride, what is up, man? Man, I know you're happy. So I saw something on ESPN where Nick Chubb said he blamed himself for scoring. And the thing is, it wasn't really, I watched the game, and it's really hard to watch a game. It's really, really hard to watch a game when you already know the outcome. So the whole time I'm watching the game, I'm knowing the Jets are going to win. And the Browns were the better team. They really were. And Nick Chubb, I love that he took responsibility because it wasn't really him. It was really Kareem Hunt who should took responsibility. If you go back and you watch the game, there was twice he went out of bounds on that final drive. He stays in bounds. Either one of those times he stays in bounds, they probably win that game. And I loved how Nick Chubb took responsibility. He said, if I just take a knee, and this goes back because I remember when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, the score was 31-20. Late in the game, the Chiefs running back scored a touchdown, 40-yard touchdown run. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I think I screamed out it. I may not remember. But anyway, I screamed, "Get down," because I didn't want them to score. But, I mean, of course you're going to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And some people thought that he should have been MVP over Mahomes, and that was just stupid. So anyway, but he should have went down because time would have expired and Nick Chubb took responsibility. But if you watch the last drive, there was twice Kareem Hunt goes out of bounds. Either one of those times he comes back. That's a win. That's a win. So Browns will lose. I'm glad you point that up. And I'm gonna talk about some other things. I'm gonna come back to this game, but I have a $20 free bet. I took Pittsburgh +5. I originally was going to put more money on Pittsburgh. I was actually going to make a bet on Pittsburgh covering 5. Then I watched the Browns Jets, and I decided against it because I got to watch Pittsburgh in New England. Then I went back, and after watching it, the Cleveland Jets game, I think Cleveland actually has a better team. Now Clowney's probably not going to play. So yeah. Yeah, I went back on it because I was going to put money on it. Slasher, you should be pumped up. You should really be pumped up. And you know what? I'm gonna get some of these comments, and then I'm gonna go over a couple things I found really interesting, and you guys already hit on 2 of them. So correction, I need the Browns to lose. Hey, I need Houston to get over 6 wins. That's all I need. Give me 6. We got explosion on the offense. My Lions won. I went on a date with a girl, and man, One Pride. Score. I'm seeing a chat with somebody who I just met, so I'm going to kind of keep it clean here. But yes. One Pride, man. I hope the date went well. I'm gonna keep it clean. I'm gonna keep it clean. But I think you know what I'm thinking. Slasher, did your butt? What's good? Any of you guys see it? Thielen went out in Minnesota. Supposedly it was on Twitter. I did not see that, Funk. That's a great question. Because I was watching Monday Night Football, and I was wondering why he wasn't getting more targets. And the only thing I can think of is I think he's 29. I should have researched that, but I think he's 29. And Justin Jefferson's clearly the number one guy. And for years I said Thielen's a legitimate number one. He's not. He looks considerably slower. And, you know, I didn't see that, but it wouldn't surprise me because it's really hard when you're a number one guy to be back at number two. Remember when Diggs was there? Diggs was number one guy. Thielen actually kind of took over. And I was like, great, you got two number ones. Then they go ahead, they get Jefferson. If I remember right, they traded him, then they drafted Jefferson. And I remember saying this. I remember telling Bills fans, you made a huge mistake. Turns out to be they didn't. But I said, you watch, Jefferson will outperform Diggs. And I think statistically he has. But Diggs has really elevated the Bills to a different level. So I was wrong about that. But it wouldn't surprise me if Thielen does one out because he's not getting the targets. And you talked about this before. I'm really curious because he looks slower. He doesn't look like the same guy. He had one really great catch. He's got really good. He's still a good receiver, but I don't think he's a number one guy. And I don't know if it's Jefferson just playing at such a crazy high level or if Thielen's lost a step, but he does look a little slower. It wouldn't surprise me, but I didn't see it. Life with Lala. Well, hello, Lala. Yeah, do me a favor. All my social media links are below. I know you have a YouTube channel. Send me the link. I will follow you because I tried finding you and I couldn't. So thank you so much for joining. We were chatting earlier, so I'll leave it at that. She's married. She's married. So I'm not hitting on her, but we met earlier and. She's like, hey, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel. The Jags lead the South. Soon the bull will reign. I hope so, man. Just give me 6. Get me to 6. That's all I need. Where you been, Slasher? I wanted to ask your thought about the penalty on Alex. I always get the name wrong. I always get, and now I always want to call him Anal Zone, and it's not it, but yes. Whoever took the Houston-Denver bet did not have a good day. I think Houston covered, the under covered. Denver does not look good, folks. Denver does not look good. But I really need Houston to beat Chicago. I think all of my Lions fans here will agree. Funk, I've been at work, and I think it's football. Just let them play. All right, though, Slasher. We will split the season, like I said. All right. Spit it out, my dude. So we won't mention your card. Yes, dude. I'm not. You know what? I'm really jacked up today. I had 4 energy drinks. I was doing really good. So I had 4 energy drinks the day before. None today. I'm trying to kick the habit. I had 4. So a long story. I'm not going to bore you with details, though. Yeah, he looks considerably slower, and he doesn't look like the same guy, and I'm curious if he's upset about that. But it'd be interesting. But he doesn't look like the same guy. He definitely doesn't look like a number one guy. I don't think it's targets. The offense may not be a great thing for him. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't see where he wants out. It wouldn't surprise me, though. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Minnesota's like, hey, might have to move on from this guy. It wouldn't surprise me. I think he's making good money, so let's figure it out. It was a good game, like I said, but I was confident about for months, although it wasn't really how impressive how lax they were in the fourth quarter and almost let them come back. You know what? I'm gonna talk about this right now. I'm gonna give you 4 things I find very interesting about the NFL in the first 2 weeks, and I'm just gonna start from there, and we'll kind of go there. Number one thing that's most interesting in the NFL for the first 2 weeks is the Detroit Lions are easily the most entertaining team in the NFL. They could be up by 20, they could be down by 20. They're the only team in the NFL. The score is 31-7, 10 minutes left in the game, and you have no idea who's going to win. You have no idea. The Lions could have 7 points. They could have 31. The Lions could be up by 20. They could be down by 20. And it's still a game. Most entertaining team in the NFL. Highlights galore. They're okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown had an end around for 56 yards. That's like, oh, yawn. Because DeAndre Swift had this screen catch where he breaks like 4 tackles and scores a touchdown. Hutchinson got 3 sacks, one pride 40. Yes. Who, by the way, who told you Hutchinson was going to be a Lion and you were going to like him? I said it since February. You Lions fans wanted Hamilton. I told you Hutchinson was the right play. I told you guys. Goff's playing good. The defense has some holes. Most entertaining team in the NFL. So here's the deal. I'm going to watch football with my dad. He lives on the Missouri side, so sports betting is not legal in Missouri, and I'm going to spend some time with my dad. So Sunday, I can't do in-game betting, which I'm really mad because I really want to bet on the Lions-Vikings game. I'm going to have it on my phone. So, actually, I won't have it on my phone because I'm going to be on the Missouri side. Sports betting is not legal in Missouri. It is in Kansas. I would love to do some in-game betting on the Lions. Well, if he took the points, he lost. They didn't cover. But the Lions, most entertaining team in the NFL. I think that this is the first time since Barry Sanders. So first time this millennium, the Lions are must-see TV. I now want to watch the Detroit Lions on the Lions are probably not getting a primetime game till Thanksgiving, and they need to be primetime TV. Most exciting team in the NFL because you had no idea, but they're averaging over 30 points a game. All these highlight reel plays. Hutchinson's getting sacks. I don't know about the rest of the defense. I'm assuming it's not very good. I saw something, I think it was on Good Morning Football. Carson Wentz is leading the NFL in touchdown passes. That's not weird. By the way, I'm doing something different with my camera, so I'm noticing I'm looking off here. It's a camera thing I'm playing around on. Yeah, very, very nice, very nice lady I just met, and I told her about my YouTube channel. And she has a YouTube channel of her own. And I put in it's Lala Layla or Life with Lala, and I couldn't find it. So I told her that, hey, look, I'm doing a YouTube show. I'm going to go live. But yeah. And there's a dog barking his ass off. So by the way, so I only got through point 1. I said this at Amon-Ra St. Brown, his ceiling's at number 2. I could be wrong. That end around blew me away. And for those of you who didn't see a play, he had an end around. He went like 56 yards. So it's really funny how certain players look faster than other players because he doesn't look like he's very fast. And then so it's like, okay, like he first gets the ball, he gets around. There's not this acceleration, right? So I'm watching him run, and I'm like, it's going to be a 15, 20-yard run. This is a good play call. And by the way, you remember how I blasted Lions for not going after Matt Nagy and promoting from within, not getting external? I looked wrong after 2 games, looked dead wrong. So anyway, he's moving around, and it looks like it's a 15, 20-yard gain. And next thing I know, he's just blowing by defensive backs. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I said I was going to keep it clean. But, I mean, he's moving fast. I didn't realize he was that fast. It was such an exciting play because he's just blowing by these guys. And they're now – Washington's defense isn't very good. It's not very good defense. That blew me away. He has, I think, 6 straight games with a touchdown plus a 56-yard run. I said he's a number 2. He's looking like a number 1. He's producing like a number 1. He is producing like a number 1 receiver. He's producing like a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. Right now, he's Pro Bowler. Playing phenomenal. So, yeah. Gator, what's going on with your Broncos? What I've been telling you all off season that they're not really a Super Bowl contender. I've been saying this all off season. They're probably going to finish fourth in the AFC West. I don't know if they're going to finish below the Raiders, which I have that game on DVR. I'm going to watch it, but I mean, blowing a 20-point lead at home. Ooh. Boy, it's bad. All right. Let me get over I'm gonna go back and forth here, but I'm gonna give you the number 2 thing that really stands out. Jalen Hurts might be the guy. This is the season that you have to figure out if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, is Jalen Hurts your guy that you're going to go forward with? Because he was a 2nd-round pick, not a 1st-round pick. So this offseason, if the Eagles are smart, this is the year going in after this will be year 3, right? This is the year you want to sign him. And right now he's a legitimate MVP guy. And it's a big deal because remember, they have the Saints 1st-round pick. Now, it's not going to be in the top 10, but what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get your 2 number 1s. You're going to have to trade probably into the top 10 if you want to draft a quarterback. But if Hurts is the guy, and it looks like he is, it really looks like he is. They run him way too much. He had some direct runs. He runs way too much. He's a powerful dude. He's a big dude. If he's the guy, you got 2 1st-round picks, you can really do some damage. You talk about the team of the decade. Hopefully, I live in Kansas City. I'm a Chiefs fan, so obviously I want to be Kansas City. But if I had to say, give me a team that's not Kansas City, it's going to be a team of the 20s. I would say it's Philadelphia Eagles because they drafted Cam Jurgens, who's going to replace Jason Kelce as the center in 2023. Fletcher Cox, a borderline Hall of Famer. They got Jordan Davis. He's going to replace him, played a little bit. They also got Nakobe Dean. He's not, I don't even think he played. So you got some guys that are young, talented players that are going to step up in 2023, but you have one of the best teams in the league. I saw a lot of Eagles fans. There was some douchebag things I saw on social media with Eagles fans. There was one clip about a young guy harassing an older lady that it really bugged me. It was like somebody's grandmother. And for those of you that don't know, Vikings fans travel. Vikings fans are awesome. And Eagles fans are notorious douchebags. So there's one clip, and I was like, man, this is embarrassing. And Eagles fans are sticking up for this guy. So Slasher, man, your fan base has some shit bags, man. I'm sorry, dude. There's some shitty Eagles fans, but if you had to say, give me a team in the deck, I love the way the Eagles are built. I love their team. Some real shitty things I saw on social media really kind of bugged me. And by the way, it was like, you never know, this older lady may have been trash talking the whole game, but as somebody who's been to Arrowhead over 300 times, the Vikings have come and traveled. I can tell you for a fact, Vikings fans travel well. They're usually very, very respectful. Eagles fans are not. Really bugged me. And the fact that the people responding were sticking up for this guy harassing who looks to be a grandmother, really bad. But man, they have the Saints 1st-round pick in the 2023 draft. If Hurts is the guy, this is huge for the Eagles, because I really thought if Hurts isn't the guy, you have to trade those 2 picks. Now you have a team that's set up for the future. You have your quarterback, and you have 2 1st-round picks. The future is very bright in Philly. Very bright in Philly. Hey, Funk, do you believe me now your offense isn't the strong point and it's your defense? Yeah, believe it or not, I actually still believe that, even though the Lions defenses look bad and the offense has scored over 30 points a game. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Lions D-lines. I didn't have a chance to watch that game. I saw the NFL Red Zone, so I didn't watch either one of the Lions game, but the Red Zone kept on showing up because the Lions kept on scoring points and they kept on giving up points. But Hutchinson's 3 sacks. Washington has a weak offensive line. The thing is, I don't think this is going to be a guy who's consistently a double-digit sack guy. but he's a guy who's going to be very solid against the run, and he can put pressure on the quarterback. It wouldn't surprise me if Hutchinson ends the season with like 8 or 9 sacks, but the fact that he's very active, and I think you could play him inside in certain situations. I think he's going to put on what I call the NFL 20. Use him like inside a little more next year, not this year. And you can use him kind of like, okay, Joey Bosa right now is playing an outside linebacker, but for a long time he was playing a 5 technique, and he was very, very effective. And I kind of thought maybe the Lions would do the same thing. It looks like they're just using him as an outside linebacker, but it wouldn't surprise me if he comes into training camp next year with an additional 15, 20 pounds of muscle and does some things a little different. So Dan, I think 6 wins. Yeah. I don't think 6 wins will win the division, but man, I need Houston to get to 6. I need Houston to get 6. But, you didn't play that bad against Philly, and you had a great game. I really hope that I can watch the whole game and not just the highlights. I really want to watch the whole game. Man, Denver Gators says my Broncos. Yeah, it was kind of a shame because I've said this for years. College football should not have a poll or a ranking till week 8. And when you beat Utah, which was the number 7 team in the country, the expectations were high. But Utah is not the 7th best team in the country. I've watched enough football over the years to watch a team and tell if you're a top 10 team that's on the. I don't even think they're a top 25 team, to be perfectly honest. So expectations were high, and then now they're coming back to earth. By the way, YouTube TV did save the UCF Florida game. I think that was last week or something. I probably won't watch it though. And I really wish that you would have believed me when I told you that the Broncos are not going to be that good of a team. It's a learning curve. Your coach looked like he's overwhelmed. Russell Wilson hasn't really integrated himself in. It's a long season, man. It's a long season, but I think that 2023 will be a lot better for Denver than 2022. So Slasher, the only stop the Eagles got in the 4th. Graham had a handful of Goff's face mask, and they throw the flag. You probably get more nervous. They had a bunch of 3 and outs. Goff was stagnant in the first quarter, picked it up the second once they pounded it in. Slasher, the Lions offense scored the most points in 18. Yeah, they have. Their offense is explosive. And it's I really hope it continues. And remember how I said that they made a mistake not going after Nagy. I look wrong, man. I look really stupid right now. Yeah. Okay, Alex says Gator, y'all won. I mean, yes, your fans started counting down the snap count at the end of the game to remind them to snap the ball in time, but it's totally a normal thing. Yeah, it's and I'm going to say this, Broncos fans are fantastic. Denver's a great sports town, and Broncos fans are fantastic. That's not a good thing. It's really not a good thing when your fans are doing that. Yeah. And what the best part is that A.J. Brown really opens up the games for Devontae Smith, which is funny because Devontae Smith, he won Heisman Trophy. But really his ceiling is a number 2 guy in the NFL. His ceiling's he's better off being a Robin to A.J. Brown's Batman. And then Dallas Goedert, I think he had like a few fumbles, but that opens things up. And then Miles Sanders, God, I have such a man crush on that guy. I mean, there are so many good things about the Eagles offense. And the most important thing is that Hurts is after 2 weeks. And God, I mean, it's only 2 weeks, but after 2 weeks, he's an MVP candidate. I don't think he would win, but you had to say, give me top 5 guys that are MVP. Hurts has to be on that list. If you're excluding Hurts off that list, you're probably a Cowboys fan, which a guy accused me of being when I commented about the drunk kid harassing a Vikings senior citizen. Now, she had gray hair. So you get in an elderly lady's face and you start screaming at her. Like, it's not cool, man. It's not cool. Really bugged me. So I posted something. I shouldn't have commented, but I did. A lot of Eagles fans defended this drunk fool. Not cool. Not cool. By the way, I said that a lot. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really behind back on comments. I'm going to zip through some of these. I said man twice because those are eye-opening. Hey, one Pride and Funky, one a good laugh. Finding Brandon Prana talking about St. Barmon. Rah, 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 rah. Dude, he is playing at such a high level. I didn't want Hamilton. I wanted to trade back and take either Wilson or Lloyd. You're really high on Lloyd. I'm really high on Lloyd. So, yes, I hope so. I hope so. Yes, the Detroit Lions are must-see TV. And by the way, One Pride, if you don't follow me on social media, I posted it on Twitter. Dan Campbell, after they won the game, his post-game conference, he's really doing some of it. It was so awesome, his post-game speech. Like, and you know what the best part is that players from other teams are watching this stuff, right? And Detroit is now becoming a place you want to go to. For years, Green Bay was like, oh God, send me anywhere except Green Bay. And to be honest, up until a few years ago, actually up until now, for the last several years, probably the last 10 years, it's like, please send me anywhere but Detroit. No offense. Nobody wants to go there. It's not a vacation hotbed. It's not a state without any income tax. I believe you have to pay sales tax in Michigan. I believe that's true. All right. So now with Campbell, now with the exciting team, and hopefully they flex the game, because I really firmly believe Detroit Lions are a team that I want to see. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read this real fast here. My other point, and that Cincinnati looks really bad. Cincinnati looks bad after 2 games. The offensive line injuries are bad. Everything I said during the offseason about the Bengals, like, when you go up, you got to come down, and they look bad. That I got Cincinnati under 10.5 wins. I feel really good about that. I'm regretting not taking 9.5 right now. They look really bad. So. Denver's head coach is terrible. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, I've been trying to tell people. It's not. You're not going to the Super Bowl. Remember, I said the same thing. By the way, if you remember 2 years ago when Brandon Staley took over the Chargers, I'm like, he's not going to have overnight success. They start off 3-0. People are like, oh, you're wrong, Dan. You're wrong. I was like, just wait. What happened? They didn't even make the playoffs. So. Broncos fans, I think, are in for a long year, but I think in 2023 they're going to make some adjustments. Hackett, who is here's the problem: he's a first-time head coach, and he wants to be the play caller, and he wants to do everything the offensive coordinator does, and it really seems like he's overwhelmed. It really seems like he's overwhelmed. So Charles Harris got a strip sack. Like I said, I really hope they flex the game, because right now there's not a team except for my team that I want to watch more than the Detroit Lions, because I know it's going to be entertaining football. I know that the Detroit Lions are the only team in the NFL that scores 31-7. There's 10 minutes left, and it's a coin flip. Whether the Lions have the 31 or the Lions have the 7, you do not know. You have no clue what's going to happen. No clue. I took the money. Okay, good job. Eagles money line, Dolphins spread. Good job on the Dolphins. Vikings money line. Wait a minute. You had the Eagles money line and the Vikings money line. Okay, you're talking week 1. Chargers money line, Mike Evans, Jonathan Taylor, and CMC to score a touchdown. No CMC. And if you're talking week 1, you did a fantastic job. So awesome. It was like 10 for 250 and some score. For CMC. I know he scored a touchdown, but I know week 1 he didn't have that many yards. So Amon-Ra pointed out today Washington took a wide receiver for him and he didn't do anything in the game. Trying to remember. Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember if I no it's two. Yeah, well, okay. If I remember correctly, what they did is they drafted a receiver in the 4th round and they drafted one in the 6th round, if I remember right. And the guy in the 4th round 2 years ago, and if it's the guy I'm thinking of, actually retired from football. He's going to do something else. He was a small school player. He had like I want to say he was thinking about golfing or lacrosse or doing something weird. I think he retired. He just, for whatever reason. But dude, Amon-Ra, I said for a long time I thought his ceiling was a number 2. I right now I look like it was wrong. I look like he looks like a number 1 guy. He looks like a Pro Bowler. He looks like a Pro Bowl receiver. You know what? Okay, so I talked about Cincinnati. The 4th thing is that there's 3 undefeated teams in the AFC, and 2 of them are playing against each other in Bills, Dolphins. The other one's Kansas City, who's going to play the Colts, and I'll go over that in more detail on Friday. But just spoiler alert, I like Kansas City to win. So basically what it looks like is that Buffalo wins. You're at Buffalo and Kansas City. If Miami wins, then, oh God, who knows what like the NFL is just going to be exciting. But there's 3 undefeated teams in the AFC. You have Kansas City, you got Buffalo and Buffalo and Miami play each other. Somebody who I know and respect is compared the Buffalo Bills to the 85 Bears. Slow up. Because if they beat Miami, then you have Kansas City and Buffalo, and they're going to play week 6 at Arrowhead. But if Miami wins, then watch out. I didn't watch. I think I have the full game on DVR. I saw the highlights, but I really want to watch the whole 4th quarter because what I heard was that Buffalo was doing a bunch of things. By the way, I'm sorry, Baltimore. Baltimore's doing a lot of different things on defense. They were going man, they were going zone, they were blitzing, they're not blitzing. They have a new defensive coordinator who was with the team, and then he took over as Michigan defensive coordinator. Then he came back. So they're doing things a little differently in Baltimore, but I'm wondering is how much of it was Baltimore messing up and how much of it was Miami making plays? But you know what I might do is I might just watch the highlights and then let's find out. Buffalo plays Miami. Winner is second best team in the AFC. Say next, I'm a Chiefs fan. More than likely, if Buffalo wins, they're probably a top dog in the AFC. More than likely, but until they can beat Kansas City in the playoffs, they're the little brother. So, what made the end around work was the handoff was complete deception. Defense thought golf. Yeah, golf did a great play. So much on end arounds has to do with the quarterback doing play action correctly. There's a lot of things that were good besides that, but what I was most impressed was that Amon-Ra, a lot of times players accelerate, right? And Amon-Ra wasn't accelerating. Like he hit top speed going around the corner, and it didn't look like he was moving that fast, right? And then he keeps going and going, and people aren't catching him. I'm like, holy shit. Like, okay, you're an old-time football guy. Watch Eric Dickerson run. Eric Dickerson was one of the fastest players in the NFL. He ran track, had legitimate 4.3 speed, but you watch him run, he doesn't look like he's running that fast. But you can't catch him. and that I'm not comparing him to Eric Dickerson, but I'm trying to give you an example, an old school reference I knew you'd appreciate. But when I watched Amon-Ra run around the end, like I'm sitting here like he's not moving that fast, and then he's just blowing by people. I'm like, holy shit, he's moving. And then he still had 8 catches, 112 yards. I think he had 2 touchdowns. He looks like a Pro Bowl receiver. I said his ceiling was a number 2. I'm as of right now, I'm wrong. Now, he's going to have a game where he has like 4 catches, 38 yards. He's going to have that 5 catch, 42-yard game. He's going to have 1 or 2 of those. How's he respond next week? Does he sulk? Does his newfound success go to his head and he thinks he doesn't have to work as hard? I've seen a lot of receivers that have, a good season and then they just fall off the face of the earth. Because he is a 4th-round pick and he does have a Pro Bowl year. Does he go into week 3 and demand a raise? A lot of questions. But, man, God, that end around really impressed me. Just wait until J-Mac comes back and all right. Because he wasn't involved in mini camp, he wasn't involved in training camp. A lot of times, if you're playing Madden, this works. A lot of times you introduce somebody, but he doesn't know where to line up. He doesn't have any reps with Jared Goff. A lot of times this doesn't really work. I'd be more excited to see him in 2023. Now, if the Lions are smart, and I really, really, really hope they are, what they do is that his first couple games, like he plays like maximum 7 snaps. Like I don't know. Is the plan to have him return punts and kicks? You take a guy 12th overall, and normally you don't do that, but it might not be a bad idea just to get him used to NFL speed. Have him on the end around. Just have him run a 9 route. For those of you who don't know, 9 routes just to go down the field. This could not be good because there's so much uncertainty, and you have a young team. It could be a bad thing. But if they're smart, they ease them into it very, very slowly. And because the offense is working right now, do you want to take somebody out who's been participating for the last, 6 months and throw a guy in there because you used a high draft pick on him? That it could be a disaster, to tell you the truth. That's why I didn't like the pick. Watch the end around play again. The handoff was I don't know. The handoff was very good, but the thing that blew me away was how I didn't realize he was that fast. Because I said for a long time, it's like, man, you got no speed on this team. And I'm watching him run. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy can move. Because he's kind of a big dude. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 The end round was set up for 6 quarters. They literally moved him all over, and that was the first time they gave it to him. Plus, Cheapest block to buy coming covering. Yeah, oh yeah, Cheapest did have a good block. I'm assuming that's the guy. I'm gonna take your word for it. Covering Brown, so what took 2 guys out. But yeah. It really bugged me, man. It was some kid got in the face of a little old lady, and Eagles fans are defending that. And it's like, dude, that's never cool. So. Dude, most exciting team in the NFL, hands down, are Detroit Lions. I want to watch the Lions play now. It's awesome. It's awesome. Eagles fan, yeah. Denver, I've seen it. I agree. It reminds me of Trent Cole. Honestly, big motor and can move all around. I don't know, Dan. Aiden made one of those 10s. I don't think he is, but he I thought maybe his biggest thing would be is because that front 7 was really, really slow. He's going to affect the run game because Detroit wasn't very good stopping the run. So he's really going to be good in run support. He's a really good run defender. Those 3 sacks were big, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's an 8-9 sack guy, but he's really good against the run. And that's what I really liked about him at Michigan. It was like his motor was just going and going and going. He was just playing, nonstop 100% of the time. And he just adds some speed and athleticism on a front 7 that really, really lacked it. I mean, it really lacks speed. And so what they did 2 years ago was they drafted, they used their 2nd round pick and their 3rd round pick on that defensive line. And to the best of my knowledge, McCall is still starting and Ozarike is not. So, your second round pick, who I really liked, by the way, hasn't really played well, but McCall is playing pretty good. Third round pick started day one, if I'm correct. Lions fans, let me know if I'm wrong. So, I just wanted to mention Dallas is terrible. Yeah. Yeah. So I think what's going to happen is Dallas is probably going to miss the playoffs. I saw the injury and I heard about it, and it looked like he was going to be out for about 2 months. Dak Prescott's going to be out 2 months, and Jerry Jones said, "Oh, he could be back week 4." That injury is not going to heal in a couple of weeks. There's no way. No way. I think it's a torn ligament. If I remember right, it's a torn ligament in his throwing hand. So even when that repairs, and I'm not a medical expert, but even if that repairs, you're gonna have swelling, right? So then you have to have the swelling go down. Then you have to hold on to the ball and throw it. I mean, you're looking at, I think, a minimum of 6. Now, last year, Russell Wilson had I think he tore a thumb ligament. He was supposed to be out for 8 weeks, came back in 3. I think it's a different type of issue. I could be wrong, but I think he's going to be out for about 2 months. And they got lucky because the Bengals are a bad team, and Micah Parsons is playing at a pretty high level. I think Stephen A. Smith compared him to Lawrence Taylor, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but he is playing at a pretty high level. Cooper Kupp's, I think, isn't that his name? Is it Cooper Kupp? Oh, no, it's not. It's Cooper Kupp's. Oh, God. All right, 41 minutes in, and I called the Dallas quarterback the Cooper Kupp. So that's not good. That's not good, folks. But what's his name? Cooper Rush or whatever. The backup quarterback, not that bad. Not that bad in Dallas, but you're not getting to the playoffs. So what's going to happen is McCarthy's going to be fired. Sean Payton's going to take over, and then you're going to have something different. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. They are, James. I absolutely love it. All right, sorry, I'm behind. All right. Unless you think Washington's line's that bad. It is bad. Washington has some problems on their offensive line, but still 3 sacks. And I think he had all of them in the first half. I could be wrong about that. Still 3 sacks for week 2. Great play. And it's getting excitement. It's not just excitement in Detroit, it's around the NFL. I mean, I'm not the only person who's looking at Detroit Lions like, man, God, I want to watch the Lions play. And then watch that video. If you follow me on social media, I retweeted the Dan Campbell post-conference or the post-game conversation he had. He acknowledged the Lions player who got his first start at guard. It almost brought a tear to your eye. Players are going to watch this shit and that. I want to play for this motherfucker. I want to be a part of this. It's yeah, maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, but that post-game speech, the way he handled it, the way the team's built, it's fun, it's exciting. It's a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Okay, your week 1 picks. All right, cool. Alex, I came out of blue, gave me a chuckle. Our offense reminds me of 2018 Rams. Trying to remember, because that was a Super Bowl team that scored 30 points a game and only got 3. No, it's not, because if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, 2018 Rams revolved around Gurley. Gurley was the best player on that team. So that was different. But I get where you're coming from. But Chase Young, the interior is good because you got 2 really good defensive tackles, but Chase Young's the star on that team. He's out for a while. So, Greed Slasher, you're wrong about Ben Johnson. Okay. Okay. This is not the first time where you were. No, it is not. It won't be the last either. It won't be the last. Watch my betting video. I went 0-2. I said 0-2. I went 0-2 last week. I'm down 4 betting units. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not doing good making predictions right now, but I still have a YouTube channel anyway, and I don't mind at all when you tell me I'm wrong. Don't mind at all. Don't mind at all. But yeah, I am. I almost bet on Pittsburgh. I do got a free bet, but it's not a big deal. I was going to bet on Pittsburgh to cover 5 on Thursday night. I'm not, but me and Denver Gator, what we do is after Thursday night football, we do a video. He's going to give his picks, and I'm going to reveal the game that I am going to put action on because I do have a game. I actually was going to make the bet. I haven't made the bet yet, but I do have action on next week. I was going to take the Steelers. I actually was going to take the over on the Lions Vikings, but then it jumped up to 53.5. And I'm tempted to take the Lions to cover 6, but I'm going to pass. And I'm just going to watch the game, and hopefully it's a fun game. To be honest, now it's 53.5. I'm tempted to take the under because I remember right last year in Minnesota, that's when you got your first win of the year, and the score was 27-24. Amon-Ra St. Brown had the touchdown reception the last play of the game. Did I get it right? It was in Minnesota, wasn't it? It was in Minnesota, wasn't it? So, yeah. But I was going to put action on the over because they've averaged over 30 points a game. They're also giving up quite a few points on defense, but 53.5 is a big number. I'm thinking about just doing the opposite and hoping that's a low-scoring game. But I probably won't bet on that game. One pride, didn't you say the Lions were going to win? Mike Evans is out of my fantasy team. Who should I start, Jahan Dotson or – ooh, Slasher, I'm very glad you asked because I was going to bring that up. Mike Evans is suspended. Should I start Jahan Dotson or Corey Davis? That is very, very good. Okay. You know what? Okay, let's do this here. Let's do this. Let me do this here. First thing I do in fantasy football is I look who you're going to play against and where. That has a lot to do with it. Okay, you have Cincinnati's going to travel to New York. All right, you have a Cincinnati team that's reeling, but they're probably favored. All right, they're probably favored. All right, the defensively they've been kind of iffy, but overall I think they gave up 26 against Pittsburgh, and would they give up 20 against Dallas? Overall they've played good. Okay, that's interesting. Now Jahan Dotson is Philly's coming to town. All right, so out of the two opponents, I would want Corey Davis, and the reason why is that I don't think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I did check out the weather report. The weather report is solid both places, so weather's not an issue. All right, my opinion, I think that you have a better chance of scoring with Corey Davis and do it Jahan Dotson. That's just my opinion. My opinion is I would just going against the opponents. I would go with Corey Davis. The reason why is that I really think the Bengals are going to come out and probably win this game. And I think that the best way you would handle New York, at least what from what I saw, was you kind of want to make them one-dimensional. Now, I know Flacco had that big long had those 2 touchdown passes late, but if I'm playing the Jets, what I want to do is I want to stop the run, make them more dimensional, and I want to put the pressure on a backup quarterback who's 38, 39. So that's kind of how I would attack the Jets. All right. It sounds like I'm making a case for the opposite. All right. But bear with me. The reason why I would start Corey Davis is because I think there'll be more opportunities for him to make plays later on in the game. Plus, if I'm going against the Jets, I'm focusing on shit. I watched the game just not too long ago. Garrett Wilson. All right, sorry. So if I'm playing against the Jets, I'm focusing more on Wilson, even though Corey Davis had a long touchdown pass. So Dotson has potential. I would start Davis. That's just my opinion. So anybody else has a difference of opinion, but that's kind of what I see. I also, I can make a strong case either way, but I would go with Davis. I would go with Davis. That's just me. That's just me. No, you didn't. You say you're going to blow us out. Actually, I don't remember. High school. Cooper Rush played his high school. Yeah, because if I remember right, it was he was Central Michigan guy. So. So who's checked out his betting vids? Went 2-1 last week. Record 4-1-1. Let's go. Yes, please check it out. Man, I'm sorry, Denver Gator. Here's the deal. Denver Gator did go 2-1, but he took 2 money lines. All right. And so, like, let's say you're betting $100 on each game, you would have taken a loss last week. So yeah, you did go 2-1, and you're 4-1-1, but because the money lines were at plus 480, so I kind of like full disclosure. Yeah, you're 2-1, but you took a loss. So it's kind of a shitty thing to say. I know, Denver Gators, so I apologize, but I mean, I feel like I'd feel like we're doing everybody a disservice if it's because there's 2 money lines that were big money lines. It's not you're not going 1 for 1. So yeah, kind of feel like a dick right there, but I want people, to know that I have full transparency. I have no problem telling people, hey, look, I'm been betting weekly and I'm down over $400 so far for the year. However, I do have a play for week 3. So, and I'm probably going to kick myself too if I regret not taking Pittsburgh, because that was my gut reaction when I could have got 5. It's now 4.5. And I was thinking about it, but then I watched the whole Cleveland Jets game, and I'm like, this Cleveland team's pretty good. The Cleveland team, it's seriously, Cleveland outplayed the Jets. They played them pretty good. The Jets actually don't look like a bad team at all. They really don't. I actually, tell you the truth, they look a lot better with Flacco than they do with Wilson. Why they're not using Breece Hall more is a complete mystery. But the Browns didn't. Like, I watched the Browns, and then I watched the Steelers and New England. The one thing that stood out, without clowning, it's going to be a little different, but Myles Garrett should have a big game. I was, before I watched the Cleveland Jets game, I really wanted to take Pittsburgh plus 5. I mean, it's 4.5 now. Now I would probably maybe lean towards Cleveland. The over-under is low, like 38.5, and I do agree. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but taking the under on anything under 40 is really, really tough. But after the game, me and Denver Gator are going to go make a video, and I'll either release it super late Thursday night, which will mainly be Friday morning, or I'll release it Friday morning. There is a possibility I may release the video Friday after the show. So we'll figure out. But it's me and Denver Gator. It's something I look forward to, because we watch Thursday Night Ball, then we do a video. It's a lot of fun. One Pride 40 says go Dotson. Hopefully whoever you put in there, you win. It's only week 2, brother. It's only week 2. So yeah, only week 2. The money line on Buffalo was stupid. I backed out last second against plus 10. Yeah, money lines are nothing to brag about. No risk it, no biscuit. Hey, you did better than I did. By the way, last week I went 0-2. 0-2. And my games were, I had San Francisco and Seattle. I had Seattle to cover 9.5. And here's the deal. If Lance didn't break his ankle, Seattle covers. If I knew Jimmy G was coming in, I would not have bet on that game. And then the Colts were inside the 5 twice and got 0 points. For those of you who don't know, I bet the over because I saw 45. And there were so many factors leading up to that game that made me think that this should be the under. But I'm like, no, the Colts will be able to score some points, and they got shut the fuck out. So, but I do have a play for week 3. I do have a game I'm betting on. And I was tempted to take the over on Lions Vikings. Now I'm tempted to take the under at 53.5. So I also stupidly thought the Steelers. Seriously, it was a real good game. Real good game. And a lot of people thought bad about New England after they lost big to Miami. Now that seriously, that AFC East is really interesting because you got New England and New York. They're both at 1-1. Buffalo and Miami are 2-0, but they play each other, so one of those teams is going to drop. And then New England or New York, both of them have legitimate chances to win this week. They really do. So you have a very good AFC East division. Matter of fact, I didn't bring this up. I did put it in my notes, but it's kind of fun because right now, okay, they're both in the NFC. I'm sorry, in the NFC North and the NFC West. I thought there was one in the AFC. I was wrong. In the the NFC West and the NFC North, all 4 teams are 1-1. There's actually only 6 undefeated teams in the NFL. And Philly and New York, they play in the same division. Buffalo and Miami, they're going to play against each other. And then if Buffalo wins, Buffalo's going to play Kansas City in a couple weeks, which is going to be a lot of fun. And if Tampa Bay wins and they go to 3-0, I think week 4 they play Kansas City. Pretty sure that, yeah. So, I mean, there's a very good chance the 72 Dolphins are going to be popping champagne early. So, so I kind of, on my notes, I kind of went a little out of order, but I'm going to bring up a few things here. Mike Evans will not play. He appealed the suspension for one. Honestly, he could have got more than one. But and it's going to be a big one. They're going to play against Green Bay. So Justin Herbert is very banged up. If you've been following that, the Chargers are a 7-point favorite hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've been following this because it's still day to day. There's no guarantee that Herbert's going to start. I think he is. I think he's going to be banged up, but he is going to play. I'm almost tempted to just put 25 on Jacksonville, just for fun, because if Herbert doesn't play, you have a really big advantage with Jacksonville to really steal a game. And it was kind of interesting too because you have an East Coast team traveling to the West Coast, and Doug Peterson he said he talked to a sleep expert, and he was developing a plan to try to get the team acclimated to switching multiple time zones. And I thought that was interesting that they kind of went into some detail about that. That's something Urban Meyer wouldn't have done. So I was tempted to maybe put a little bit, it would be a tiny unit, because I actually don't think that there's too much of a difference, at least not 7 points. And for those of you who don't know, the Chargers do not, even though it's in LA and you have a team traveling multiple time zones, there's really no home field advantage to the Chargers. There really isn't. So, but when me and Denver Gator do our video, he's been on fire. And I have sucked. But the one thing I have done is that I've had stretches where I don't do good, and I've always bounced back. I'm not promising that I'm going to make a profit this year, but I've been betting on football for a while, and I've had streaks where I do bad, and I will almost always bounce back. Sometimes the streaks are long. I've had there was one time a couple of years ago it was like 4 or 5 straight weeks I was just picking loser after loser after loser, and then I had I followed up with a 3 or 4 week stretch where I was like 8-1 or something like that. So and I do got a good one. I got a good one. Herbert Actually, I actually kind of liked him on TV. I heard that Nebraska fans were wanting him to come there, and actually, for those of you who don't know, Nebraska fired their head coach, and I really think that there's a strong chance Urban Meyer coaches at Nebraska. There was also another big time coach that was rumored to be in a candidate, and then Arizona State fired Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards, one of my favorite people. Love Herm Edwards. I was kind of pulling for him, but there was like some off field issues, and then you lose to Eastern Michigan. With off-field issues, you get fired. Apparently, what happened is they as they were walking off the field, the athletic director came on the field and fired him. Like, wouldn't even let him like go address the team. He was like fired. Like, for those of you who heard, like Lane Kiffin was fired on the tarmac. Like, they fired Herm on the field. Like, that was kind of fucked up. But the final other thing I want to talk about is this is more for my Chiefs fans. I know Denver Gators anxious about this. Okay, when the Chiefs played the Chargers, Derwin James kind of body slammed Kelsey. There wasn't a flag on the play. I mean, I wasn't really up in arms about it, but Chiefs social media was. There was talk. I saw multiple clips where Derwin James was suspended. I saw one clip. It was trying to be funny, saying that Kelsey was suspended. I unfollowed that guy. Bottom line, he's not suspended, but he was fined. I didn't have an issue with the play because what happens, Kelsey's been famous for this. He tried to hurdle the guy, and Derwin James, being a super fast, athletic guy, before he completely became airborne, just grabbed him, and the momentum. Kelsey's a big dude. People forget he's 6'6", 260, and his momentum kind of carried forward, slammed him down. I thought it was a good play. I didn't have a problem with it. Chief social media was up in arms. Derwin James did get fined. He's not suspended. And I saw multiple things where James was suspended. One person was trying to, clickbait saying Kelsey was suspended for 2 weeks for trying to jump over somebody. It's not a thing. So, one other thing I'm going to point out about the Chiefs. I try not to make this a Chiefs-centric show, but Willie Gay is going to be out for a couple weeks. I unfollowed one guy who blasted that, for breaking a Hoover is the same as beating up or sexually assaulting girls. And I'm like, dude, stop it. It's actually funny. The Willie Gay situation happened about 3 miles this way. It happened in Overland Park. I lived in Overland Park. And when I saw the clip, this happened last year. So what happened is Willie Gay, I think it was a baby mama. So he entered her house without permission, broke a vacuum cleaner. So she called the police, and she should have. I mean, he's an NFL linebacker, okay? He's an NFL linebacker who's breaking shit. What do? You call the police. I think he was arrested, but released, or the police came and he wasn't. I don't know all the details. But bottom line is the Chiefs organization was aware, the NFL was aware. Normally, this is handled at the beginning of the year. For whatever reason, it wasn't. In my opinion, and it's pure speculation, is I think it was more the legal system had to work out the details, not lax of the NFL. I think it was more the Overland Park Police Department rather than the NFL. I don't know this for sure, but a lot of people blasted the NFL for not suspending him right away, and I don't think that was the NFL's fault. I don't know. I really, really don't know. But bottom line, he's going to miss 4 games. He's going to appeal. More than likely, the appeals process, the way it's worked in the past, is that it'll probably get reduced to 2 or 3. But he's going to be out against Indianapolis, which hasn't really affected the spread. The spread's been climbing. I should have bet on this. Like I said on Friday's show, I should have bet on the Chiefs to cover 3. Now it's 6.5. It's probably going to stay at 6.5. I've been following going on almost 3 seasons and know you're going to bounce back first. Yeah, I'm not saying this to brag about myself. If you've been following me for a while, I've had streaks where I've been bad, and I almost always bounce back. Now, I've had longer streaks in just 2 weeks, but I will bounce back, and I have a good one. I have a good game I'm betting on. So I think fine is acceptable. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a dirty play at all. It was not a dirty play at all. No problem with Derwin James. I have no problems with Chiefs fans not liking it because you're Hall of Fame. And by the way, Travis Kelce is a future Hall of Fame tight end. So his brother. A real popular NFL player, future Hall of Famer, gets slammed to the ground. You don't like to see it. I have no problem with it. Fine. I would have had no problem if there was no fine. The NFL fines players all the time, believe it or not. Smart NFL players write off as a business expense. Technically, it's true. I'm not a tax expert, so don't quote me. Don't quote me on that. Okay. Before I wrap up, I'm going to talk about Thursday Night Football. Now, I really wanted to take Pittsburgh in 5, and if Pittsburgh wins the game, I'm going to come on Friday like, oh, I should have bet on it. But after watching, also I bet 300 a couple of years ago on Pittsburgh Pittsburgh covering. I think it was 2.5 or 3. It was the famous Myles Garrett helmet game where he ripped off the helmet and started hitting Mason Rudolph. It was that game. I bet on Pittsburgh to cover. I think it was 1.5 or 2, and they lost that game 21-7. So I mean, I'm kind of gun shy about that. But after watching Cleveland and the Jets, I really think that Cleveland might have a better team. So they're at home. How are they going to respond to a complete collapse in the fourth quarter? A lot to think about. Pittsburgh's offense is shaky. The offensive line's not very good. Trubisky's actually played pretty well, considering he has almost no time to throw. The offensive line's really bad. Pickens is starting. They start, 3 wide receivers. He's made a few plays, nothing exceptional, but there's talent in the skill position. Freiermuth is very athletic, very talented tight end. Najee Harris, I really think is, if I had to rate, I don't have them all top 5, top 10 running back. Deontay Johnson's banged up, but still playing pretty good. They got creative with Chase Claypool on several end arounds against Cincinnati, not so much against New England. New England was ready for it, but there's a lot of skill position talent. The offensive line's garbage. Cleveland's defensive line, Myles Garrett's playing at a pretty high level. I mean, he really affected that game big time. There's lots of plays where even he wasn't getting sacks or hits, but he had an impact. I mean, he was playing at such a crazy high level. I think he had 2 sacks, and I don't know if it's counted as a stat, but there was one play Flacco was going to throw the ball, and Garrett hit him, and it forced an incompletion. Like the ball was coming out of his hand, came out like a weird angle. I don't know if that's even a stat, but I mean, Garrett could have like a crazy game. Could have a crazy game. So I how do I look at the game? The over under, I think, is 39.5. I'd be tempted to take the under. That would actually be the right play to take the under, because I see low scoring game, even though Cleveland put up 30 points against the Jets. I really this to me looks like a 21-14, 21-17 game. It's hard for me to take an under when it's under 40 points. It's so hard to do that. It's so hard to take under 40. And then I really want to take Pittsburgh. The line right before I was come on was 4.5. I really want to take Pittsburgh to cover 4.5, but I mean, Cleveland's at home. They looked pretty good against the Jets for 58 and a half minutes. I mean, they really did. Garrett is a difference maker. Nick Chubb is that's still the Cleveland Browns still have the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. Still have the best 1-2 punch in the NFL as far as running backs are concerned. Nick Chubb is so good. He is so good. I'm always going to have a crush on Nick Chubb because when he replaced Todd Gurley at Georgia, Todd Gurley was Heisman front runner. He replaced him. I went on social media and I said, I think Nick Chubb is better. People blasted me for it. You're the dumbest person in the world. I'm like, I'm just going by what I'm seeing. Like, I think he's better. And so when I watch him as, I mean, the second or third best running back, you have great running backs right now. Who's number one? I still would put Jonathan Taylor as number one, and I would put Nick Chubb at number two. Derrick Henry is not the same guy. He's not looked anything like he did, and the offensive line's also been banged up. And I mean, there's some other things going on with Tennessee. I think we're going to see a quarterback change sooner than later. I really do. But as far as Thursday Night Football, my prediction, I actually like Cleveland to win. I'm not betting on this game. I really want to take Pittsburgh. I got money on Pittsburgh. What is it? Over 6.5 and over 7.5. So I'm pulling for Pittsburgh. I think Cleveland's going to win. I like the under. I like Cleveland in a close game, to be honest. But hopefully Pittsburgh does win. And I'm pulling my hair out and saying, "Oh, I should bet on Pittsburgh. Should went with my gut instinct." And I took a $20 free bet. So what my free bet is that once or twice a month at Ameristar in Council Bluffs, they give me a $20 free bet. They gave me a $40 free bet in August, and then they gave me two $20 free bets. And I don't live in Council Bluffs. It's like 3 hours. So I drove there. I collected all my bets. I made a $20 free bet. I was going to take the Chiefs money line, but anything plus or minus 300, you can't use it on the free bet. So all right, well, I feel good about, Pittsburgh covering 5. So I said, all right, I'll take Pittsburgh in 5. And then I went home and I watched Cleveland the Jets, and I'm like, shit. Cleveland looks like they're a better team, but we'll find out. I got told by a Bears fan that they will score 40 on us. Playing basketball? No, that's not going to happen. The Bears are a shit show. I remember I think it was 2011. I'm pretty sure the year's 2011 because Cam Newton was the first pick in 2012. No. I'm sorry. I got my years mixed up. I'm sorry. It was 2010 because 2011 Carolina had the first pick in the draft, drafted Cam Newton. All right. I think I got that right. So Carolina won the first game of the year, lost the next 15. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Bears lose their next 14 games. They're not terrible, to be honest with you, but no, they're not going to put 40 on you. I would be hesitant though to sit here and say that you guys are a lot better than the Bears. I wouldn't say that at all, but the Bears offense is really, really struggling. It's really struggling, and it's really just such a damn shame because I think Fields has some talent. I think he's in a bad situation. He's one of those guys that I think one of you guys called him Bustin' Fields. It may have been you, it may have been Funk. I'm not sure where I saw it, but anyway, he's one of those guys that I really think might just need to go to a different team and start over. I really think that he was just so mismanaged, and he doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have the offensive line. He's one of those guys I really think might just need to go to a different team and start over. like just do something like Trubisky did, where he's a backup, then he's going to go to a team and get to play. And Trubisky, if he plays well enough, he may get an opportunity to start in 2023. Definitely not for the Steelers. They're going to roll with Kenny Pickett after this year, but it wouldn't surprise me 2023 he's like the starter. I don't know, maybe Seattle or something. If they can't figure out what to do in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. By the way, very smart in New England to bring up the contract. Very smart. If you didn't see that, Bill Belichick talked about the contract and like, oh yeah, you can't, deserves to get paid. Be interesting. From what I've seen so far, you should, but it's a long season. I don't know off the top of my head when you guys play, but the Vikings-Lions game, it's going to be really, 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 really fun. And it's kind of a shame because I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to watch it because I'm going to be over at my dad's house and we're going to watch, Chiefs and Colts. But normally the way it works in the Kansas City area is there? I think there should be an NFC game on. There's Houston at Chicago. I don't know what game's going to be on, but yeah, it's been like that for a while, man. It really has. I remember when they traded for Jay Cutler, and I was glad. I wanted to get him out of Denver because I saw some talent. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to see that really talented young man. So when he got traded, I was like, thank God. And he showed flashes, but he was never really the guy. And Trubisky, I love Trubisky coming out of college. I really think that if he went to a different team, he would have a lot more success. And same thing with Justin Fields. I think he may just need to go somewhere and reset. But yeah, I seriously, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bears don't pick up his 5th-year option and he has to go somewhere in 3 years. It's year 2, right? So it wouldn't surprise me he has to go somewhere after year 3. But it's kind of a shame because I see talent. It's just such a bad situation that he's in. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of help. The offensive line's bad. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. So, all right, folks, that's all I have. Listen, by the way, below in the description should be all my social media. Follow me on social media. If you haven't already, give me the thumbs up. Do like the video. If you haven't already, I'm seeing a bunch of regulars in here, but if you're watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button, join the growing community of football junkies and fans of all 32 NFL teams. And for those of you who are regulars, man, rebroadcast this on social media, man. Let's get this community growing. It'd really mean a lot to me. And if you don't mind, after this is over, drop a comment below, and it helps me out the YouTube algorithm. Trying to get to 800, just trying to get to 800. I'm like 7 away. So that's all I have. Friday, I'm going to be live. With Bufa, it's a game time decision. His wife hates me, so he may not be allowed to come over anymore. He might have to remote from his own home. Anyway, it's a game time decision with him. Hopefully I can get him to come on because you guys seem to really like him. And I love having him here too. He's a great guy. Great guy. Can't say enough about him. That's why I love having him here. So anyway, that's all I have. Hopefully Pittsburgh wins. I think Cleveland will, and we'll find out about my prediction. And check out the Dan Betts NFL. I should have put the link in the description below. Me and Denver Gator will do a video. It's going to be a good one, and I'll see everybody back on Friday.